Okay, thank you for watching here on YouTube at a Blooming Light at Bloomie's Tribe. If you happen to be logging in on the original air date, which is Tuesday, August the 19th, 2025, it is approximately 10 um, 05, 10:05 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you're watching at a later date and time, then just thank you for watching. Okay, so I believe the title is something to do with words, the subconscious, and the tricks of the American English language. Okay, and today, as after I was like doing some clearing, doing some cleansing, meditation, my energy, my aura, my chakras, okay, the space, as I was doing that, during that time is where, well, actually, it could have been a little bit before that. I think it was possibly as I was listening to sound frequencies, because I do listen to certain frequencies during sleep. I put on my noise canceling headset, and I'm listening to certain frequencies. And as I was as I was coming to, this is where I heard something to do with the word no, N-O, versus K-N-O-W. So there's a common phrase that we have all heard, okay? No fear, no pain. No fear, no pain. No fear, no pain, okay? So especially those of us, you're boxing fans, maybe you're Rocky fans, and, they're going through training. He's like, no fear, no fear, no pain, no fear, no pain. And it's the idea, you're hearing it, and it's supposed to be like this idea: you don't fear anything, you don't feel anything, no fear, no pain, right? Okay. And that's what we took it as, right? Those of us who were Rocky fans, you probably seen that part on Rocky 4. And so we're talking about words, and we're also talking about subconscious, though, pertaining to that. Okay, so KNOW, let me switch the screen. KNOW versus NOW. Let me see, is it here? Anyway, I think it's there. So check it out. So we got hyped up. I know I do when I watch Rocky 4 on that part. His trainer is going in and saying, I get hyped up myself. Like, yeah, nigga, shit. No fear, no fear, no pain, right? But on a subconscious level, you see that? Now, no and no, they sound alike. This is where we're going to get into the phonetics and the trickiness of the English language and how we're spelling on ourselves, but not in the way that we think we are. Okay? It says no is a negative word meaning the opposite of yes. Okay? And then it's showing the KNOW is a verb that means to have information. Listen, to have, you see that? Information, understanding, or awareness of. And since they sound alike, on a subconscious level, when you say that statement, when you take that same statement that we got hyped up on again, no fear, no pain, what is it saying? Based on the phonetics, they're similar. Have information, understanding, and awareness of fear. It feels different now. Have information and awareness of pain. And if that's what it's signaling, follow me, because we're talking subconscious now. If that's what it's signaling, then it's conditioning that, it's cementing that, and it's manifesting that. Interesting, huh? No fear, no pain. And what could we do about that? I mean, for me, this stuff that's coming to me is just, it's interesting, and it's helping me to figure out my own way to try to start reframing some of the stuff the best way I can, because that's what the deprogramming is about. That's what the whole digging into the subconscious, and the subconscious will kick up ruckus, but there's ways that we can get to that and deal with that. It's going to kick up ruckus because it's hardwired. Okay, it's hardwired. It's been fashioned in that way. Okay, for a very, since ever. You know what I'm saying? Since ever. Shit, nigga. And so it's gonna take some time. Some of the ways is when you're asleep. That's why I use this noise canceling headset when I'm asleep. And at that time, you can put in certain frequencies and things like that. You can even put in your own voice, like if you're recording certain things, and because now you're asleep. This is also why people who do baneful work like to do it when you're asleep. Eureka. So, those are some of the ways, okay? And then, of course, changing up the language and transmuting all of the times that we're saying that, that thinking that, okay, yeah, no fear, hype up, no pain. So, I cancel and delete that. I mean, find me a new word. Because it's hard wiring me into the program of pain and fear. Which keeps me stuck on the karmic loop. So what do you all think about that? I feel some kind of way. I ain't gonna lie. As all this stuff has been coming to me over the last few years, I feel some kind of way about America. I do. Because we're supposed to represent one of the most superior countries in all existence. We're supposed to represent the exampleship. We're supposed to represent the exampleship of what oh shit, motherfuckers should want to aspire to be. But look at its foundation. And look at how it's treating its own citizens. Because I guarantee you, the real power in America, the real, they know what I'm talking about. Guarantee it. And they benefit off of it staying just this way. So it's really, I'm not going to stay on that too much because I feel like that's just yet another distraction. But I do want to say that though and bring that forward. Like that's something that's a big deal. All of these little subtleties, and this is why I feel this way, because it's the subtle things. It's not the obvious shit that anybody and everybody can see easily and clearly. It's the fact that it's these subtle, these accumulations of subtle things that's actually not helpful, that's keeping, and we're like hamsters. That was, let me change that. Fuck that. Okay. They want to keep us like some kind of hamsters on hamster wheels. Here you are thinking that, you know what I'm saying, you training, you're doing all this stuff, you're investing all this, and you're giving it all you got, and you're doing the best that you can, and you know, you're trying to make good choices and doing all, you know what I'm saying, all of this shit unbeknownst to you. Unbeknownst to you, it's going to keep you on a wheel. Mm. And you're like, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And then worse yet, then you even sometimes then will feel bad about yourself as if, and this is why I got an issue with it, because then you'll feel bad about yourself as if it's something that you're not doing right or correctly, or you're not doing something enough. You know, it's kind of conditioning this, affecting your own confidence, which serves them as well. You see that? Because the more you have to go round and round and you to put all this evidence, like, yeah, yeah, right? And that ain't going to be what it is, nigga. It be because we got conflicting energies happening constantly, because the subconscious is recognizing, you know what I'm saying, some of this stuff differently than what we think we are doing. And I think the other day I talked about how the subconscious, according to the studies, we, was it 85 to 90% are governed by it. Now that's a huge number in my opinion, okay? And if that be the case, do you see why we have conflicting energy? That we ourselves, not to mention all the shit ton of shit everybody else may be throwing at shit. So just put that aside, put a pin in it, put a pin on the external, okay, influences, which are a factor, okay? But put a pin in that, nigga, yeah. Our own shit. Our own shit. And in some cases, we don't even know. The point that I'm making is no fault. I'm not saying it's not for a lack. It's just that we're not aware. This is why I'm calling judgment. And this is why I'm asking my co-creating higher team, cosmically speaking, to execute judgment on just that. Because again, you come a certain way, and we are not in the know of such, and we're shaped and fashioned in such a way, and then you're doing all these various different things, so you don't even know that you're working against yourself. You see that? That's the trick. And there are many other forms. And I'm not saying this to make anybody out there negative or negative Nancy, negative Negan. I'm not saying this to get everybody sad. What I'm saying is, okay, because I'm taking it forward. I'm not just sitting and going, whoop. I'm like, no, I'm looking for solutions and answers and things. Because, see, that's kind of shit old Bloomy Bloom roll with. Okay, it ain't going to just stay on the part where I'm pissed. It's going to be, and what is my action plan? So it ain't about just bitching and moaning. It's not about that. It's, that's a distraction. It's about, okay, face that, feel that, own that, honor that. Anybody with any blood pumping through their veins and still have a conscious connected to their body would feel some kind of way. When you look at your life in hindsight and retrospect. But from there, it's like, okay, so in this now moment, that's what, when it came to me as I was coming to getting ready for meditation this morning, because it came in between. I had the headset on, and that's when I heard it, and then I got up and I went into doing some clearance on myself. So I started asking even then, like myself, inside. So how can I make some adjustments with ease? Not some drudgery. I'm not I'm not attempting to align with or tap into anything that's going to be more drudgerous. For me, simple. The more simple I can make something, the more streamlined, the more natural I can make something, for me, is the better. Because we'll be more inclined to do it. You see that? When it's drudgery, then it's like it's gonna be hit and miss, because it'll be like, shit, nigga, like, damn. So I look for stuff. I look for ways where it's kind of almost feel natural. And that's what I'm coming up with now for myself. And if fear and pain, now remember, fear is an illusion, but fear is also the basis of the state of the world as we know it. It's the foundation, because from fear breeds, in my humble opinion, from fear breeds the other things that we see, the grotesque things that we see in the world. It's forms of it, and what's what's manifested as a result. Okay, we talk about the survival of the fittest, and we talk about animalistic nature. All of those things are still forms of fear, so it's still the basis. Harassment, fear is the base. Okay, why does people harass somebody? Why would someone harass? There's a fear. They may act like they don't have any, but I guarantee you there's a fear. It's trust and believe it. It's some kind of it. We didn't say what type of. We're saying that it is some kind of fear. Okay? Because nobody's investing in harassing anybody because they're confident and secure in life. I'm going to say it again. There's nobody in existence, no one and no being, that is harassing anybody that is actually confident and secure in themselves. Comfortable, confident, and secure in life. Not one. They may act that way. They may have areas of life, but I say that because still fear is the basis. Fear is the basis. Okay, so we have to go back and ask, so what's their motivation for harassing? See, if you go there, if you take yourself through those steps, you'll find it. You'll find it every time. I don't care if it's on a micro or macro scale. What's the premise? What's the motivation? What's the foundation? It's something. Because nobody's going to be investing when they're safe and secure. You're safe and secure in yourself as a person, as a group, as an organization, as an individual. You're safe and secure and confident and happy, yet you're investing in your money to harass someone? That don't line up. You fear something about that person. I'm trying to get y'all to see it. It's a type of fear. When we hear the word fear, some of us assume we're just talking about maybe how we have come to know or understand the word fear. But there are many types. When we say fear, it's not necessarily physical fear. It's not necessarily like somebody fears like that person can do a harm to them. It's not always physical fear. Okay, if you broke down, I think, how does the whole word break down? False expectations appearing real. False. So it's already giving you the idea that whatever it is they operating on or it's operating on is false already. False expectations. So something being expected from whatever the object that's being feared. False expectations appearing. Okay, now here, there it is, that illusionary kind of lucid energy again. Appearing real. That is what I'm talking about when I say they must fear something. It's not necessarily they're afraid that somebody's going to physically hurt them, or that object or a person or thing is going to physically hurt them. It's whatever is the false because that's what fear is, false expectations appearing real, because that's the driving force. The expectation is given an undertone of nothing has even happened as such. Whatever it is, that the falsity, the premise that's built. So it's along those lines. There's no one in existence that's feeling safe and secure in life, in themselves, and who they are, and what they're about, and their capabilities, and all those things in totality, in a holistic way, that is harassing anybody. I've done studies on bullies, and we have all seen this in the movies, haven't we? From Mean Girls to 17 again, and there's always some kind of rom-com or teen movie, or something like that gives you the whole narrative and premise of, it's usually high school or college or something like that, and you have the haves and the have-nots, how this goes, the hierarchy of these systems. And so you have the popular kids, and you have all these other subsects, and the bullies usually target these loner types, the nerds, and things like that. Okay. And just on the surface, right, when you look at that, when we think about these movies and we're watching it, on the surface, what's going to come to your mind is not that these people fear, right? Because we have this idea of what fear means. Example, the high school bully or the college bully. But think about that. Because that's not what it appears. It appears like they're stomping, they're huffing and puffing and stomping and blowing people's house down, right? It don't appear that way. It appears that they are strong and confident and empowered and in authority. That's what it appears. But when bullies are studied and looked at closely, you find something different. You do. You find that many of them, they're shame-based, and they're stuffing it, and they're hiding it behind their Letterman jacket. You know, they may feel, some of them, like, you know, in these movies that we've seen, they may feel like they're dumb, and that particular target kid that they are making sure to try to make an example of in front of their friends, that kid may be smart. And even though that kid may not bother them per se, because most of the time these nerds kind of just stay in their little special circle. They don't really bother anybody. They know that they're not accepted amongst the in crowd, and they typically stay to themselves. But that nerd, whoever that the bully in the high school decided to target, it's because they see something, and this is on their subconscious. It's subconscious. They see something and recognize something about this loner nerd kid that's just as comfortable as they want to be, not being a part of the in crowd, being in their authentic energy, don't care about who laughing and mocking, just as comfortable with being a nerd or in their little circle of crew, or, you know, whoop, ain't bothering nobody. On a subconscious level, the bully envies it. Because they have to perform to keep that. They have to perform tirelessly, endlessly. They have to perform and put on a show to keep that persona and to keep that spot. They have to do all sorts of things that they don't really want to keep the persona and to keep that spot. Sometimes they secretly feel like, in these movies I'm referencing, they secretly feel like they're dumb, and that intelligence of that nerd bothers them. So they want to find ways to so-called bring that nerd down. But that bully in the high school and in these movies we see, in these scenarios, they are not consciously aware. They don't know. But how would they? Because that's not, at least in the US, you know, that's not, we're not taught anything about that. So how would they know? Okay, we come in and we're born to, so at least so it appears, we're born to, you know, whoever it is that we found ourselves at. And then whatever that culture is, and that's what we're fashioned into. How would they? So they're just basically playing it out. The reason why I'm bringing the bully example into this as the physical understanding of fear, but you see how the bully usually can overpower the nerd. In these movies are usually some little runt, you know, they're definitely usually not muscle bound, okay? In some cases, they don't have nearly as much as these privileged kids and so forth. So on a surface scale, you would argue that what in the world would these bullies have to fear about these motherfuckers? Exactly. But that proves my point, that fear about what someone can do to you. It's an undertone. The fear of not being enough. The fear that maybe you're dumb. The fear that you're gonna have to perform for the rest of your life, and it is tiresome trying to keep up a persona to be a part of this so-called fucking in crowd. The fear that maybe you won't be relevant, you know, because it's taking so much. How long can you maintain it? And the fear that maybe that nerd's presence may reveal, whether that's what they're doing or not, just the subconscious fear that this nerd's presence, as a byproduct, because we're still talking subconscious, as a byproduct, may expose and reveal that maybe the bully's persona ain't quite what people think it is. Like, that's not what they really are. They're not as strong, they're not as smart, they're not as whatever it is they've been pushing. Since their subconscious is driving that, then subconsciously it's pushing them to go nitpick at that nerd, because that's the object, the whatever energy, essence, and characteristic of the nerd. Okay, so there's a drivenness to tear it down, to humiliate it, to embarrass it, to poke holes, to so-called bring them down, and so-called put them in their place. That's what the bully, that's why they're driven there, because subconsciously they feel like they can do that. And if they can be successful, then maybe they are at, you know, as good as they wish they were, or maybe you see what I'm saying? And what's follow me? This is subconscious. This is not like they are having conscious conversations with themselves. It's not like they're having conscious thoughts and words, you know, either in their mind or even out loud. It's sub. It's sub. And back to our behavior, between 85 to 90% by our subconscious. False expectations appearing real. And what's fascinating, we have all quoted that. We have all that. Even the very bullies and people that are harassing folks right now quote that. But that's the point of what we've been talking about for some time. Being self-aware and introspective, that leads to inner workings, is what the difference is. It's not just regurgitating information. It's the application of becoming self-aware that leads you to the place of inner workings. To question ourselves, not in a mean way. It's not about being mean to ourselves, not in a mean way, not in a, you know, a harsh way, in a way lovingly, but in a way that says, hey, okay, I'm just on autopilot. What is this? What is this? Let me stop. Let me pause. To hell with the external me. What is driving me? Likewise, people who do nefarious dealings for kibbles and bits, it's still fear. I know that it is fear paired with greed and entitlement, and you can go on, but let's go back to the core. There is a lack scarcity connection, false expectations appearing real, which is a driving force that fashions this energy of this is something I should do. I need the money. Sure, when my turn comes, because it will, when my turn comes, I'm going to feel some kind of way about it. But for right now, I need the money. I need the money. I need the car. I need this debt paid off. I need these tickets erased. I need the charges dropped. I need the sentence shortened. You see that? That's a fear. We don't look at it like that. It's still a fear. Because it's the idea of the false expectations appearing real that there's no other way. Or if there's something pertaining to like a threat, because it's still false expectations, because people have different causes and reasons for why they get willing to do all these things. But either way, it's still fear. Fear that, like with the bully story, that's it's going to be found out. If we don't do away with whatever this is, we're going to be found out. Fear. That's not strength, that's fear. And now here's the kicker part. Fear of what will happen if they're found out. Boom, you see that? Because it's a whole like rabbit hole branches out into the what, you know, it goes from one thing to the next. So we must do this. Fear of facing jail time, even though they didn't fear facing jail time when they did the crime, but still fear. They did the crime because of fear. Oh. Fear. And until any of us, just on an individual scale to start with for ourselves, first just become self-aware and understand that it's not a matter of you're bad, it's a matter of understanding we were fucked from the beginning, people. This is not nothing for us to feel bad about ourselves about. US, because I can't, listen, the only reason why I'm saying it's not because I'm trying to hate. The reason why I have to say that is because I don't have a point of reference, dear, for other countries. I can't speak. I haven't myself physically. I know what information is out there, but I haven't physically, so I can reference my experience. If we were fucked from the gate, okay? That's what I'm saying. It's nothing for us to like be beating up ourselves about whether we're the bully or the bullied. We were fucked. One day we'll see this. We were fucked. From the fucking gate. And it has produced fruit. So when we come to it, it's a matter of good gravy. If you're like me, you do get pissed. But you get pissed because, you know, you just see the grand scheme, you know, all of that. You're like, son of a bitch. you know? Because just look at it and laugh at this. Because we have all the stuff that, we didn't know, we were fucked from the gate. So our own creation on that end, okay, you see it? Based on the programming and also the phonetics, the spells that are on the English language that we're misusing, but thinking that is going to be producing something different because of what we were taught it is to mean. So we have that end of it on top of all the other crazy, rat race shit show, external influences, external environments that's piling on all at the same time. The exceptions, listen to me. The exceptions is if you, like I said, the exceptions is if you with them crews, honey, you with that Illuminati, huh? Motherfuckers that got that got access and knowledge to the air. If you got that, or you're a part of the powerful, uh, founders and motherfuckers of the world, of the United States. It's just shit. Okay? That was the only exception. Because they are aware of what I'm saying. Even they are. So we're fucked from the beginning. Hence why we fight each other. Just play with this. Hence why you fight yourself. Just sit with it. Don't be mad. Let's do it without judgment, if you can. Because that's not the point of this part. The point of this part is the awareness. Not so you can be mad at you and your neighbor and this and that. So that you can okay. Maybe. What are my traumas that I don't know? They didn't tell us none of this shit. Man, come on, y'all. And subconscious, what do you mean? They showed and tell us nothing about that. Energy? What are you talking about, energy? Energy? What, you mean you're tired or you need some more energy to move? What do you mean? Energy. And I'm not saying this so we can beat up ourselves. This is what the setup, oh God, our setup, which works for certain, this plays into, it works for them. Chakras? What are you talking about? Huh? Aura? What do you mean aura? Is that some foo-foo, woo-woo-y, tree hugger, hippie shit? What do you mean? Aura. That's of the devil. What do you mean? What you say? Your attitude? That's what you're talking about? Aura? Science started to prove it, or started to be able to get the technology in order to reveal it. And even still, some people ain't getting it. So we're fucked from the beginning. Our behavior is gonna 85% and 90% choices. Okay. What's really bothering me? If I gave myself permission without judgment, in the privacy, it's not like I need to put this on blast. This is an inner work, and this is an intimate thing with myself. If I gave myself permission to put, to call out my own shit and to put a pin in personas, grandiose, delusion, fantasy. Just sit with myself. Lovingly, though, because let's go back to what I said. We were all fucked from the beginning, people. So sit with it. Okay, and asking myself the question, what's bothering me? What's really bothering me? And allowing wherever comes up, not trying to control it or judge it or just because it's going to go in layers until you get to it's going to come out and be all over. It's going to be all crazy. Sometimes either as you write it out or feel it out. I've started paying attention to my body when I ask it, so I can see where the issue might be, or where the energy itself may even be or stuck. But, and no judgment. It's like, well, okay, what is bothering me? Okay, why am I this way? And why do I do this? And why did I choose to do that? What am I afraid of that I don't know that I'm afraid of? What issue do I have with, what's my real issue? I know what I'm telling myself every day. I know my ego form there, because we all have that. The egoic, Freud would say the id, but the egoic nature, that primitive, which is not neither good nor bad. It's how, ancestries and beings have survived throughout history. But when ruled by it, potentially dangerous. So what is it really? Why don't I like this person? We all got preferences now. Now, if you follow me, I'm not trying to imply that, you know what I'm trying to say. We all have our own little, stuff. But even with that, where did that come from? Because if we start sitting with this, okay, why don't I? And then follow the rabbit hole, follow the trail of it. Is it because this particular group or person, whatever this is, they've done something to me? Have they violated me per se? What's my real driving force? Am I brokenhearted? That's something else that nobody ever told us. Nobody gave us nothing. Okay? Oh, shit. I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry. This is my humble opinion. Everybody told us this shit. They tell you to go put some dirt on it. Look at it. Old school shit, Compton. Go get you a wire and some fall. Put some tape on. Get over it. Pray. Go exercise. These are all things that is not neither good nor bad either. Brokenhearted. That's where crimes of passions have been birthed, in my opinion.